Oh, League Two, you're the best league in the world. Certainly the best fourth tier in the world. This is not the Top 20 podcast. We're going to be talking about Sky Bet League Two. We're sponsored by Sky Bet and the Sky Bet EFL Building Foundations Fund. We turn for home. This is the business end of the season. And the top teams, well, they certainly know it. And they are stepping up, most of them anyway. Every top half team in League Two won, except for MK Dons, because they lost to fellow top half team Barnet, and Salford, because they lost to fellow top half team Cambridge. George, I think we should start with MK Dons 1, Barnet 3. One of the most intriguing results of the weekend, and a significant one too.
This is very Barnet to have kind of flirted with being good all season, but show a real kind of soft belly and an inability to convert what has often been dominance within games. And certainly if you look at most kind of underlying shot data points, expected goals, shots, all that stuff, final third entries, Barnet rank as one of the best teams in the league, maybe only second by MK Dons in that regard. And they've struggled all season to convert that into goals. So why not here? We're 1-0 down away at MK Dons after Kieran Slicker, their goalkeeper, dropped or didn't even actually make contact on a high ball that Mellish then managed to kind of steer home with the outside of his left foot. Do they suddenly turn into a team who are going to turn the screw? And it's important they did, because staring down a defeat here, you're probably at a time where their slim chance of getting the playoffs looked like they were kind of going to be coming to an end. Now, yet again, even though they're in 12th on 57 points, they do seem like a team that have the quality to maybe put the run together to force their way into the reckoning. And if Barnet do manage to find a way to get in the top 7, I'd really fancy them, because that would mean that they've finally found a way to actually start winning games. We should talk about two of the finishes. I mean, Collins scored just before half-time to make it 1-1. A player that came through at MK Dons, never made a senior appearance, and scored a nice glancing header from a corner. But the quality of the two finishes from Tishmanga and Kanu for the goals to make it 2-1 and 3-1 were sensational. Kanu's was a very nice kind of a close range finish in the bottom right-hand corner. But Tishmanga's in particular was such a sweet strike. Just the amazing camera angle behind where you can see it just cushion off the inside of the post into the back of the net, just outside the area. Real composure, beautiful ball strike. MK Dons had a penalty kind of halfway through the second half, which Hepburn Murphy saw saved by Slicker. A bit of redemption after that initial mistake for the first goal, and they couldn't find a way to find a second to get back into the game. So, for MK, they'll be mightily frustrated that they were ahead in this game and ended up losing it in the title race, in the top 3 race and everything else. It does feel like, because it's so competitive up there, if a team does lose, they're going to lose ground, as was the case here. It couldn't really have gone more wrong for them. For Barnet, if there's a time to believe, going away to MK Dons, who've been in such good form, beating them 3-1, maybe we're finally going to see, maybe the pressure's off and they're no longer expected to do okay. We're going to see them improve, but it doesn't get any easier for them with Cambridge and Bromley at home the next 2 games.
Just went down a real Danny Collins rabbit hole.
Collins.
Did we know some of this stuff? I mean, it was because of you saying
thank you.
He was at MK coming through. Now, don't Google. Did we know that Danny Collins was, in June 2018, one of 100 nominees for the Golden Boy Award?
No.
Because at that time he was playing for Stuttgart's youth team.
No, I didn't know that.
Stuttgart bought him off MK Dons because he'd made a few benches when he was 15 in March 2014, presumably when Carl was managing.
Amazing. That's so good. He
went to Stuttgart, where the highest he played was for their second team. Came back to Crewe, 2019, age 21. Still hasn't made a sort of what I would consider a senior league appearance at that point. A couple of years at Crewe, mostly on loan at Malden and Tiptree and Sudbury, and then signs for Dover Athletic.
Being at Stuttgart and then suddenly being at Sudbury. No disrespect to Sudbury.
Nice place.
Lovely place.
Is it?
I don't know.
I've never been. Anyway, Danny Collins, lovely near post flick. That's the only thing that's definitely true in all that. No, that is all true. And I should have known all that. That's good law. Danny Collins, Lore, law, not Law. Bromley, there's one law in League Two. That's the Bromley don't lose. Here they won.
They win 1-0 every time.
3-1-0 wins in a row. They beat Crewe. And because of that MK Dons result, they pull clearer.
Just after I turned on the lights, that I was basically not just convinced, like I knew that MK Dons were going to win the league.
Yeah, you did do that.
This happens.
You did do that. They're now 5 points clear, Bromley. This was absolute woodwork central, this game. Both teams at it. Collier in the first half through Lisby. Bromley in the second half twice. They took 19 shots. Collier took 18 shots. I mean, this was no way a 1-0 game, to be honest. But la Kabamba.
Wow.
Plays for Bromley. And he scores goals. Now, a lot of people think of Bromley, they think of Michael Cheek. They think of goals scored by Michael Cheek. But Cheek's been injured. He hasn't played in the last 4. Kabamba, who's been his understudy all season and has played almost exactly half the minutes that Michael Cheek has played in the league, has now scored the same amount of non-penalty goals as Michael Cheeky Cheek. They have both scored 12 non-penalty goals, Kabamba in half the minute. So a guy that has been a very valuable super sub is now stepping up, scoring winners in Cheek's absence. They are unbeaten at home in the league now for more than a whole calendar year. That is sensational. Wow. They are 21 unbeaten this season in home and away. A bit like you with Lincoln. Like, what do we say about Bromley? That they are so good. They've been so good for so long. They responded really well to Deji Elewewe moving to Lincoln in January. They signed Deborah and Medley, and Deborah's made a good partnership with Show Me. He actually got injured after 10 minutes here. Medley came on. He's been all right as well. And then there's Kabamba and then Dinanga as their third striker to cope with the absence of Cheek. So it's a squad. They get so much from so many members of the squad rather than just having a sort of first 11 and then a big drop off when anyone's injured. Brilliant. Cambridge, they beat Salford by 1-0. Don't sniff at this because Salford, they've been in a winning run. They're actually not that far off the auto. So this is a very valuable win for Cambridge United, particularly with MK dropping points as well. Gibbons scoring the winner. He only seems to score big goals, Gibbons. That's a nice knack to have. A back post header that he looped over Matty Young. Salford had one massive chance, and it was Ryan Graydon, who's been absolutely flogged over the last few months after his big money sale from Fleetwood to Salford. 1-on-1, saved by Jake Eastwood.
He's knackered.
He's knackered.
Yeah.
I think against the best defence in the EFL, you've got to take your chances, and he didn't. That is 28 goals conceded in 38 games for Cambridge, 0.73 per game. Arsenal, 0.71 goals conceded, and they were apparently set to break records this season. Cambridge as good as Arsenal defensively this season, and they've got 23-year-old Mamadou Job at the heart of it, academy graduate. They've got Kel Watts, left centre-back, sparkling this season. Jake Eastwood in nets, who played for Grimsby previously. I don't think anyone saw him being one of League Two standout keepers. He's absolutely been that this season. It's brilliant, and it's just such a shame that Tuesday night's game against Grimsby got rearranged. Not just because we were going to be there, and we were really excited to be there, but also with Grimsby's recent form, that would have been an exciting game to have on Tuesday night. Now, I sort of get the feeling the last few weeks that the top three of Bromley, MK, Cambridge has been becoming somewhat established. But you look at the table, I mean, it's definitely not that. Notts County are only 2 back, and they beat Cheltenham 5-2.
Yeah, Notts County's last 2 games have been a 4-0 win and a 5-2 win.
Bash!
So finding some attacking fluency at quite an important time of the season.
Influenza.
They went...
Attacking influenza.
That's definitely something else.
There's a lot going around London at the moment. Watch out.
Flu jab. Doesn't really work. Isaac Hutchinson put Cheltenham 1-0 up. He is good. And he's not done in this game yet. Jody Jones, who's kind of a real provider turned goal scorer at the moment, found his way, diverted the ball home across from a set piece to make it 1-1. The first of 2 very good goals then came. Matty Palmer scoring his first goal for a while with a lovely strike into the top left-hand corner from just outside the area. Before Hutchinson made it 2-2. The goal of the game, though, for me had to be Tom Iopenders. A lovely kind of pirouette as he took the ball in the stride and then fired it into the corner.
I think you might be missing a nutmeg there.
Yeah, and a schmeg.
Pirouette into nutmeg, into carry, into finish from 20
Incredible.
yards.
Yes.
Wow.
And then James Wilson own goal, followed up by Tyrese Hall making the points safe after a really good assist down the left-hand side from Keenan Bennett. So yeah, Notts County just really enjoying themselves from an attacking perspective. No panic when conceding. Given what happened at MK Dons, this is a big result for them with Bromley, Cambridge and Notts County all winning. It means that they're right in the mix again to finish in the top 3 with a game in hand on MK, which if they were to win, they'd be just 1 point behind them. So all to play for. And it does feel like they're playing well. They put that really disappointing 3-2 defeat at home to Chesterfield behind them quickly.
Keenan Bennett, you mentioned, and it strikes me that he, like Danny Collins, spent quite a lot of time in Germany.
In Stuttgart.
Yep, no, Mönchengladbach bought him off Spurs, where he was an academy graduate. It was around that time, and German clubs should, to be clear, still be doing this, where they were like, I think if we buy really talented academy graduates from England and play them in the Bundesliga, then we can sell them back for loads of money. And Dortmund did it quite well. Some of the other clubs, less well. Keenan Bennett's didn't quite work out. But yeah, he was at Gladbach for 3 years.
Reece Oxford,
great one.
Thanks.
We could sit around doing this all day. God, I love this game so much. I love this job so much. Isaac Hutchinson, we need to just circle back to him. Only 2 players in League Two have scored more goals than Isaac Hutchinson this season.
Yeah.
And he's been scoring the goals for one of the lowest scoring teams in the league from midfield, or attacking midfield. It's quite remarkable, really. Well done, Isaac. Tranmere 0, Swindon 1. Swindon get a very, very important 3 points as they try and keep touch with the top 3. Tranmere's probably their best performance in ages, to be honest. Pete Wild set them up quite well to make it difficult for Swindon and to have a chance on the break every now and then. And they went really close with 3 minutes to go. Kane Woolery, they just picked him up on a free a couple of days ago, and he had a big chance, 1v1. Former Tranmere player, I think former Swindon player as well, saved by the keeper. And then they go and lose it because they just switch off. Swindon break. Holman wins a free kick, plays it forward quickly. It's worked out wide to Ola Kigbe. Junior Hoylett. Winner.
Yeah.
Feral scenes in the Swindon away end at Tranmere. A massive goal. Weirdly, a goal that reminded me a bit of one they conceded the other day against Bristol Rovers when Thompson Sommers scored. Swindon had switched off similarly from a free kick in the middle of the park, and that's what Tranmere did here. Tranmere have 4 points in their last 15 league games. 4 points in 15 league games. It's not good, is it?
Relying on those beneath them continuing to also lose games.
It's not.
It's
good.
funny. We've done this for a while. There are a lot of players that play in the EFL at any one time, and every so often a name comes up of a player that I used to know very well, and suddenly I forgot they ever existed. And when you said the name Kane Woolery there, I was just transported like 6 years back. I guess it's not a surprise since leaving Tranmere back in 2021. A 1 year spell at Motherwell. And then he went to...
she's fine, thanks.
Sakaryaspor. And then Ionikos, Panseraikos.
Wow, what a journey.
And then Anthorosis Famagusta. So he's had a good time.
He's had a great time.
He's had a good 5 years.
Oh, and he almost won it for Tranmere.
Sunny, I reckon.
Instead, Junior Hoylett won it for Swindon.
Yeah.
In terms of autos, we got your Bromley at 79. We got your MK 74. Cambridge 72 with a game in hand. That's against Grimsby at home in about a month's time, I think. Notts 70 points, 2 back, also with a game in hand, which comes this week against Oldham away. Probably the hardest fixture in League Two at the moment. Then Swindon on 69, so they're 3 points off the top 3, and then it's Salford 2 back from them on 67. It's just worth knowing that Bromley still have to play MK away and Cambridge at home, so they've got a great cushion. 9 points to 4th, 5 points to 2nd, but there's still some challenges ahead, still plenty of points available. Salford and Walsall and Barnet also on Bromley's fixture list between now and the end of the season. So still a little bit more work to do for the team that I think really do deserve, I'm going to say it, deserve to win the League Two title.
Just before we move on, just seen, this is unverified, but just seen a tweet saying that before Kane Woolery was signed by Tranmere, he was part of the Baller League draft and didn't get selected.
Oh no! Really? We all got selected for the Baller League draft, didn't we? Yeah, me and Tariq Fosu.
Wow, good on you.
And the guy who plays for Wealdstone, who's not meant to be playing in Baller League, but is.
I won't come and watch.
They're very disappointed in him, as you would be. Grimsby beat Barrow 5-0. This was brutal, the word that sprang to mind watching this back.
Yeah, I mean, there had been some signs that Barrow under Sam Foley had maybe been getting a little bit unlucky and that there might be a good performance round the corner. But this was a bit alarming, you have to say. Cook scoring the opener from the penalty spot before Zinedine Green, Kieran Green got a couple more. Jace Cabia, who is now playing kind of off the left-hand side with Cook playing through the middle, doesn't really seem to impact his... the positions he's getting into from a goal scoring perspective. He tapped home one late on to make it 5-0, having already scored a decent goal from that, kind of a nice finish from that. left-hand side of the box. It's a 5-0 drubbing. It's probably a result that Grimsby have been threatening to pull off for a while. Been winning a lot of games, kind of 1 or 2-0 that they've been, I'd say, by far superior in. And this was one of those days where their 3 main goal threats, really, in Cook, Green and Kabia, all found their shooting boots on the same day. But big worries for Barrow. Obviously, with other teams around them also losing, not too much damage done, but a 5-goal deficit defeat at this stage of the season, when you consider that they are bottom of the league, but their goal difference is -27, Harrogate's is -29, Newport's is -28, and Crawley's is -24. To lose a game of 5-0 at this stage is really, really frustrating, because they were in a much superior position to Newport and Harrogate going into that weekend and close to Crawley, whereas now they can't rely on that to be a difference maker for them.
I've got an idea.
Go on.
Another new manager?
Yeah, probably.
Number 6?
Who'd this be?
What's Phil Brown up to? Just Googled, director of football at Peterborough Sports in the National League North.
Wow.
I reckon he could do a couple of months at Barrow, couldn't he? Again? Accrington 0, Chesterfield 1. The playoff picture is really, really interesting, and Chesterfield really interesting to me. Bouncing back from a 3-0 home defeat to Oldham in midweek with this winner, Aki, who are currently losing every game. Tom Naylor set up Will Dixon, and that was interesting to me because they were the 2 central attacking players for Chesterfield in this game. Dixon's played almost all of his fairly limited, mostly off the bench minutes this season out wide, and Tom Naylor, he can basically play anywhere, centre-back, central midfield, generally centre-mid for this Chesterfield side, but essentially playing as one of the front 2 in this game, and looking dangerous and setting up Dixon for the winner. Braybrook in midfield looks full of confidence at the moment. I think there's probably a decent chance he's the best player in the league. And I think there's a decent chance in like 2 years' time, it's very obvious that Sammy Braybrook was the best player in League 2 25-26. And if Chesterfield do make the playoffs, it'll be really exciting to watch him over 2 legs and maybe a Wembley final as well. That's obviously not set in stone, but this gives them a good chance. Ryan Boot came in here for Zachary Hemming, who's been their keeper all season and then got dropped for this one after the defeat to Oldham. Chesterfield level on points with Grimsby. They're just outside the playoffs, with Grimsby having a much better goal difference. And annoyingly, they were set to play each other this weekend, but both Grimsby's games have been postponed. Grimsby were meant to have a hell of a week this week with games at Cambridge and then away at Chesterfield, but they have got too many internationals and they are kicking the can down the road there. But yeah, Chesterfield are pretty interesting to me now because they've got that rearranged Grimsby game to play at some point. They are at home to Cheltenham, Tranmere and then Crewe, and they're away to Barrow, to Fleetwood, and then on final day away to Swindon. So that could be massive on final day. They've also got 7th and 9th, the 2 teams either side of them, in Grimsby and Crewe to play at home, and then 4 games that they'll be heavy favourites for. So keep an eye on Chesterfield for sure. Crewe Alex, 4-0 winners at Shrews. Just when you thought you were out, they drag you back in. The Crewe Alex story. They'd lost at Bristol Rovers. They'd lost at home to Walsall. They'd drawn at Cheltenham. The playoffs were drifting away. 4-0 win, playing really sexy football. I must admit, I do bloody love a Crewe Alex side playing like this. For the first time this season, a front 4, Tommy O'Reilly, Jack Lancaster, Josh March, Emre, Tesgal, and it looked very good indeed, particularly when Lancaster back heel assist for, I think it was March's goal. It might have been Tesgal's goal. There were so many goals. They've all sort of blurred into one beautiful red mush of quality. And Callum Aegis, who has played most of the season as a left winger, played in the double pivot here alongside Sanders, and it all worked very well indeed. Now, Crewe have some work to do to get into the playoffs. They have either an incredibly tough fixture list or lots of opportunities to beat teams above them, depending on whether your glass is half full, half empty. They play Oldham next, probably the form team in the league. Then they go to Aki, and they finish with Salford, Grimsby, MK, Chesterfield and Cambridge. 5 teams above them in the league table, which is pretty exciting indeed. More performances like this, you just never, with Crewe, you genuinely do never know. You never know.
No.
How about Walsall, George? 2-1 winners against Newport County does not tell the half of it.
It just blows my mind how often this happens around managerial changes and vibe shifts and fans who've had nothing to cheer about suddenly having it all to cheer about, because the way this game went has been the way that Walsall have lost games in the last 12 months, not the way that they've won games. Newport took the lead through Biggins in the first half, and Walsall weren't great in that first half. Albert Adoma had a strike from range that was a brilliant shot that hit the post and came back. Now, I've noticed something that Darren Byfield is doing in his tenure in charge of Walsall, and I can't remember. I mean, it's only 2 occasions, but it's pretty funky. Aidan Flint, who has been a defensive stalwart for Walsall this season, at the centre of the defence. He started the last 2 games on the bench. And when what must be premeditated, after 55 minutes, Lapata, who's on loan from Barnsley, their centre-back, who hadn't really featured much until Byfield came in, has been starting centre-back, and then Flint is brought on for the last 35 minutes of both halves. I guess, therefore, looking at Flint and thinking maybe, can he get... Is the best way to utilise him in shorter bursts because of his age, and maybe also knowing that late on in games when set pieces become more important, having him on the pitch there is more important. But I can't think of many occasions where you see consistent tactical changes in terms of one defender coming off for another one in a straight swap. But when Flint came on at 55 minutes, Walsall were 1-0 down. And shortly afterwards, albeit, I think we can credit Flint with much impact in this, Kanu made it 1-1 with a decent finish to make it, to bring it back to parity. Walsall were then well on top and had a few opportunities, but it looked like they weren't going to get it until a long throw was launched into the Newport box, I should say. It was cleared and fell to Alex Patterson, who hit it was a kind of hard daisy cutter from quite a long way out again into the bottom right hand corner to send Walsall fans into delirium. Amazing scenes. As I say, there isn't really a fan base, so I'm happier to see celebrating a goal like that than Walsall because of what they've had to go through.
First home win since Boxing Day.
Unbelievable. And again, it goes from being a season that is over if they lose this game 1-0 to one that is still very much alive in terms of their proximity to the top 7. And with 3 games since the departure of Sadler, one being a 3-0 win away at Crewe, one being a battling 0-0 at home to one of the best teams in the league in Cambridge, and now this turnaround win against Newport County at home to win it 2-1. And this is a Newport side that we should say who have made life very difficult for all their opponents recently under Christian Fuchs. They go to Colchester next up, who are really struggling. They then host Gillingham, who are really struggling. Do not rule out Walsall in this top 7 race, in this promotion race. There's no reason why they can't have a big part to play.
Heartbreak for Newport. As you say, they are playing well. They were really good against Bromley and lost. They were good here and lost. Crawley, big positive at the top of the pitch and got the assist. And Biggins, who scored the goal, big positive, has had a way more positive impact on this team than I thought he would have when he joined in January. Looks the best I've ever seen Biggins, which is, given that Newport are one of the bottom budgets in League Two, has to be seen as a really good pickup. So well done to them. Their fixtures now that they've got some really tough ones out of the way. And as discussed, they played well. They've actually picked up some scalps as well. Shrewsbury at home next. Crawley at home after that. Then a trip to Notts County. Harrogate at home next. So their next 4 games are absolutely massive. Newport are out of the League Two relegation zone. 1 point clear of Harrogate. 2 points clear of Barrow, who they play on final day, and level on points with Crawley, who, as mentioned, they play in a couple of weeks' time on Good Friday. Harrogate lost to Oldham. No shame in that, George, because everyone loses to Oldham. They have won 6 of their last 8 league games. They have only conceded in 1 of those 8 league games, and it was in a 3-1 win.
I think it's 7 of the last 8 home games. 7 of the last 8 league games they've won.
Yeah. They're bloody good. They beat Harrogate.
They're good. Yeah. I mean, this didn't go their own way as well. Should say Oldham have been very good defensively. They've only conceded 1 goal in those wins that we've been talking about, and that was against Tranmere, and came when the game was basically done in the 95th minute. So they are one.
I did say that, but you were so keen to correct me.
Consolation, yeah. They're one consolation goal away from basically winning all these games 2-0. But Harrogate did create a fair bit themselves. It again feels like Harrogate are a much better version of themselves than they have been for most of the season. This wasn't all Oldham's way. Hill hit the woodwork kind of with 5 or so minutes left of the first half. Smith had a couple of shots that were saved from outside the box too, but Oldham weren't really able to do what they've been doing recently and create loads of chances. But the substitutions worked for Oldham, with Leek coming off the bench. He did very well to kind of contort his body to get on the end of a set piece and head the ball home from close range to put Oldham 1-0 up. And it wasn't all easy from there, but they saw it out pretty well. They nearly got another one. I know it was Hawks who also came off the bench with the who created the goal too. So a couple of substitutions really working for Mickey Mellon. It wasn't the best performance of this very good run, but as I say, Harrogate are making, as are Newport at the moment. I don't think Harrogate, it's not the best time to play Harrogate really at the moment. And Oldham still came away from it with all 3 points, and it's another 3 points that keeps them in the conversation, especially with their games in hand. They've got on all the teams above them, at least one on all teams above them, and mainly two. So it is really exciting, this.
Mate, they play
this battle
twice.
Yes, they
before Grimsby and Chesterfield next play.
Wow.
How much do you love that? This is from Kieran, Oldham fan on the squad. They play Notts at home and then Crewe away. If, and this is a big if, but if they could get 4 points from those two games, they'd be level on points with the playoffs, Grimsby and Chesterfield at the moment. And they would then be level. And they'd have played the same game.
Grimsby would have played a game less.
Grimsby would have the game in hand.
Yeah.
Pretty bloody exciting.
Permutations.
Most clean sheets in the entire EFL. Hudson in goal has saved 22 of his last 23 shots on target.
Wow.
And Mickey Mellon's just so on it at the moment. Like, I think it sounds quite risky if you're trying to keep another clean sheet to bring on a Leek. But he brought on a Leek and he scored the winner instead. It's absolutely astounding, really. Gills 1, Bristol Rovers 2. Gillingham have had 12 penalties in League 2 this season. Very random quirk. No one else in the EFL. The other 71 EFL clubs, no one's had more than 9 penalties this season.
Wow.
Gills have had 12. Oxford, 1. What's going on, guys? Conspiracies. Their penalty was scored by Ronan Hale. Half-time, 1-0 down. Steve Evans, back at Gills, makes a quadruple sub. Thompson, Sommers, Camrich, de Havilland on. Harbottle, Caven, Lee, Sparks off. And it had the desired impact. Alfie Kilgore rising to equalise, and then Ellis Harrison, really messy goal that from a terrible from a Gills point of view. Harrison scoring the winner. So Bristol Rovers can breathe now, can take a big, deep breath. They're 12 points above the relegation zone. They've won 5 of their last 7. Evans has done what he's brought in to do. Gills have lost 4 in a row, by contrast, and are really leaking as they head towards the summer, and lots of decisions to be made. And finally, George, Fleetwood 1, Crawley 0. Not a great performance from Crawley when they really needed one. Ched Evans scoring the winner for Fleetwood an hour in. Matt Lawler will take Fleetwood forward next season, which I don't mind that interim reign being made permanent at this stage, based on what I've kind of seen and heard from him in his tenure so far, how the team's played under him, most importantly. But also for Fleetwood, like, they're one of only 3 teams with a Category 2 academy in League 2. They have to make the most of that, otherwise there's no point. It's too expensive for them to have otherwise. And he has a real connection with that part of the club. If, as seems to be the case, budgets are dropping, presumably due to a difficulty in their owner, or previous owner, I should say, supporting things from prison. I think Matt Lawler makes sense to take Fleetwood forward next season. But that's not the news story from this game, because at 10:55 on Sunday night, Crawley announced that Scott Lindsay had been sacked. They did so, George, in block capitals. They said, "Club Statment."
No.
A typo in the tweet announcing the departure of a manager sums everything up, does it not? I put it to you, that sums everything up.
Yeah, and they also made, some people noted that the hashtag town team together off the back of a statement.
A statment.
Statment, sorry, sacking the manager is a bit ironic. I mean, reminder number 7052 that managerial ability and performance isn't binary, and it doesn't always go by the way that you think it's going to go. Historical achievement doesn't necessarily equate to current achievement, because it wasn't long ago that Scott Lindsay, with a very similar group of players, achieved what was basically unthinkable and delivered a promotion out of League 2 to League 1, and did so playing an incredible brand of attacking football. How Daniel Orsi is the same person as the one who was scoring, and no, it's not an offence to him, but a guy who was getting into amazing positions, scoring great goals for Crawley not very long ago in this league, and is now playing in a team that, he's not getting into any goal scoring opportunities. He's not finishing the ones that come his way, and it's not all on him. It's a group of players who seemingly can't find a way to execute the game plan that Lindsay wants. And it's obviously not the case that Lindsay is a terrible manager. It's not the case that whatever came before it was just fluke. He's achieved something incredible, but for whatever reason this time around, it's not happening. They were, not great here. I said on the betting show that I thought we'd seen in the Barnet, Colchester and Swindon games a bit of fight and a bit of a turnaround in terms of performance. But, the powers that be at Crawley have decided that they've seen enough, and that if they're going to protect their EFL status, which is the important thing, they're making a change. It's the right thing to do. It's impossible to say whether that's the right or wrong decision until we see who comes in. I would say that it should be quite a good job for someone in terms of the actual personnel. Like, I know that the stock has fallen for most of these guys, but a team with Cladai Lolos, with Taylor Richards, with Callan Gordon, with Dion Pereira, like, this should be a manager's dream, really, to come in, especially with expectation levels so low. But I know that a lot of people will say that Crawley is a club that isn't headed in the right direction, and that can often be a tough thing to turn around. So, it'd be interesting to see where they turn next. And for Lindsay, his stock has obviously been dealt a huge blow since that day at Wembley, with a bad spell at MK and then not being able to turn around at Crawley. And you worry as to whether or not he'll be able to get an EFL job again. So, sad that it hasn't worked out again, because it was an enjoyable promotion as a neutral that we saw a couple of seasons ago. It'd be interesting to see where they turn to next.
I wanted to finish with a little relegation battle check-in, but this is basically a game of musical chairs in which the music's still playing, and it's almost impossible to know exactly what's going to happen from this point. There is still only 2 points separating the 4 teams that we've been discussing as relegation candidates for the last few months. That's Crawley and Newport now on 31. That's Harrogate on 30, and that's Barrow on 29 with a game in hand. Tranmere have entered the chat after picking up 4 points from 15 games. That'll do it. They are 6 points above the relegation zone, 5 points above Crawley and Newport. At the moment, feels like Newport and Harrogate, having been in the bottom 2 for most of the season, are playing the best of this group of 5 teams, but still so much football to be played, and any wins right now from any of this lot are just absolutely massive. Next week, there is almost a full slate of League 2 games, not quite, so there'll be lots to talk about, and we will go through the League 2 table in fine detail and analyse the run-in. Cheers, and go well!